Are you interested in learning what researchers have discovered is a correlation between different parenting styles and the self-esteem of your child? If so, I'm going to walk you through the 5 conclusions I learned from reading multiple different scientific studies about the relationship between parenting styles and self-esteem. Let's get started. For the best STEM parenting tips and advice on YouTube, subscribe to my channel now and hit the bell to be notified when I release a new video every Thursday. In this video, I'm diving deep into what the various researchers found about the impact of parenting styles on a child's self-esteem, including what scientists have concluded is the best parenting style to increase children's confidence. By the end of this video, you'll have more data on what parenting style works best for you and your kids. My name is Iftikhar, and I'm the editor of seed2stem.com, a parenting blog that focuses on helping raise children with a growth and STEM mindset. Let's get started. The first question you may be asking is, why am I focusing on self-esteem? Well, a child's self-assessment of their own worth is one of the most basic requirements of human beings. After basic requirements such as food, safety, health, and love are fulfilled, what drives human beings is the desire to be recognized, improve status, and be respected. Because self-esteem is how we value ourselves, having high self-esteem is a requirement to thriving in life. So as a parent, one of our jobs is to help our child increase their confidence and self-worth. And one way we passively do this, either positively or negatively, is through our parenting style. So let's see what I learned from analyzing multiple different research studies on the impact of parenting style on a child's self-esteem. A number of studies have found that authoritative parenting leads to higher self-esteem in kids. Back in 1994, Professor Steinberg validated the 4 parenting types concepts established by Baumrind. He also concluded that children of authoritative parents were more accomplished in academic, social, and emotional capabilities. Other research done by Grusik in 1994 and Baumrind in 2005 made the same conclusions. If you watch my previous video, 9 tips for raising high expectation kids, you'll know that I'm a fan of authoritative parenting. So this first takeaway isn't really a surprise, it's more of a validation. Now, this is a surprise. If you just focus on self-esteem, then permissive parenting, which is a type of parenting where a child makes all their own decisions, regularly results in the highest levels of self-esteem in a kid, even beating out authoritative parenting. Many studies have come to this conclusion, including a 30-year study by Martinez and Garcia between 2007 and 2010, where they asked over 1,200 11 to 15-year-old Brazilian adolescents questions that allowed researchers to determine a child's self-esteem score. These results suggest that authoritative parenting is not associated with the most optimal self-esteem in Brazil. Now, one universally scientific fact is that authoritarian parenting, the parenting style where a parent has high expectations for their kids but gives their children almost no decision-making power, is absolutely the worst parenting style for increasing self-esteem in kids. No question about it. Parents practicing authoritarian parenting often have the goal of keeping their child safe, and they believe they're doing the best thing for their kid. But their parenting style is so strict and controlling that they unwittingly destroy the self-esteem of their child and that child's decision-making skills. Now, this has been proven repeatedly in multiple scientific studies, including a 2017 study by Dr. Tripathi and Jadan, to a study by DeHart, Palom, and Tenen in 2006. Now, you may be watching this and thinking, aren't you stating the obvious here? Is it really surprising to anyone that authoritarian parenting has such a negative impact on a child's self-esteem? Well, I'd argue maybe it is. Otherwise, how do you explain the whole tiger mom concept, popularized by Professor Amy Chua, a Yale professor who wrote the best-selling 2011 book, The Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mom. In her book, the professor argues that Western parenting is too nurturing and focused on children's individuality, while Chinese parents focus on arming children with skills, strong work habits, and inner confidence to prepare them for the future. Now, if you look at some of the reviews on Amazon.com, clearly the Tiger Mom is picking up some followers. And you can't argue the fact that both of Amy Chua's children, both of her girls, are going to Harvard. So clearly she's doing something right. So yes, there are examples of amazing kids who are raised by authoritarian parents. But what science also says is there's a higher probability that if you were raised by authoritarian parents, you probably have a higher risk of depression and having lower self-esteem. In the 2017 study, what the researchers basically concluded was strict parents destroyed their child's ability to cope with the world, destroyed their child's ability to rationalize and handle the situations, making them feel inferior, insecure, and worthless. Ugh, yikes. Now, before I get to the last two takeaways, I want to ask you, the audience, a question. Where do you stand on the whole Tiger Mom concept and philosophy? Have you seen examples where this concept works? If so, leave a comment below. So, while there have been many scientific studies looking at the relationship between self-esteem and parenting style, no study has looked at it over a long period of time. So Professor Lucy Driscoll decided to look into this. And what she did was she looked at the 4 different parenting styles from early adolescence all the way to young adulthood. She sampled 183 participants at the ages of 6, 11, 14, and between the ages of 18 and 21. So what did Professor Driscoll learn? Well, the study was very clear that the whole Tiger Mom concept absolutely always results in the lowest self-esteem in kids. But answering the question of which parenting style is the best was a little bit harder to do. In fact, what she found was that as children became older, so in the age 14 group and the age 18 to 21-year-old group, the less restrictive parents were, actually, the higher their self-esteem got. Now, this is probably intuitive, right? It actually kind of makes sense. Kids want more freedom as they get older. And so the data suggests that older kids' self-esteem improves under permissive parenting, as it gives them the freedom to make their own choices. So note that while this study is advocating that permissive parenting leads to higher self-esteem in teenagers and college students, I'm still not convinced that it's the right parenting style, especially for my kids. While a permissive parent is likely to encourage their kids' creativity and individuality, they're also likely to allow experimentation. And this is why teenagers with permissive parents are much more likely to indulge in alcohol and drugs. The last takeaway from Professor Driscoll's study is that changing your parenting style constantly is confusing for kids and may lead to inconsistent parenting styles, which may lead to lower self-esteem. So let's try to be more consistent. So let's summarize what we've learned from all of these different scientific studies. The first takeaway is that most studies conclude that authoritative parenting is probably the best parenting style for increasing a child's self-esteem. But the second takeaway also suggests that permissive parenting is also very good at increasing a child's self-esteem. The third takeaway is that in most cases, the data suggests that authoritarian parenting almost always hurts children's self-esteem. Now, the fourth takeaway is that if you look at it over a long period of time, right, authoritative parenting may not always be the most optimal parenting style. That's what Professor Driscoll learned. And the last thing that she also taught us in takeaway 5 is that inconsistent parenting, so if you're constantly changing your parenting style, that can really confuse a child's self-esteem. So now that you know that authoritative parenting is probably the best parenting style to help increase a child's self-esteem, what can you do? Well, I've created a one-page checklist on how to start to be an authoritative parent, and I created a YouTube video, so go check that out. While research shows that this parenting style is the most effective at raising high expectation in kids, it's also the hardest to go pull off. And so I created a checklist on 9 steps that you can take to improve your authoritative parenting. So you can find that link to the video and the checklist in the description right below the video. So what do you think of the 5 takeaways? What do you think about the conclusions that permissive parenting may lead to higher self-esteem in kids? Is that higher self-esteem and empowerment worth the risk of your child making bad long-term decisions? Comment below. If you like this video, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share this video with your friends so I know to make more videos like this. If you're interested in joining a community of parents just like you, then please click the link in the description to join the Seed to STEM Facebook group. We'd love to help you out.